So girl, leave your boots by the bed. We ain't leaving this room. Someone needs medical help on the magnolia's bloom. It's cold in this house and I ain't going out to chop wood. So cover me up, know you're enough to use me for good.
There we go. Wow, that's how you open up a show.
There it is.
Remington in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We got a great episode ahead of us. Phenomenal musician, as you could see right here. I mean, if you were here in the room with us, you could definitely feel the energy. I've heard people play before, but I feel like with your playing skills and the vocals that you bring behind it, wow, that's amazing.
Just it's you know, it's got to be from the soul, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's like a dance number or you know you bear it all, but like either shake your ass really good,
Yeah,
or shake your soul kind of.
yeah.
Thing.
I figure with you kind of picked the soul part.
Yeah, well, you know, after 9 p.m.
Yeah, I wanted to play some of your clips. That way we could kind of get you in person to describe a little bit better to us what's happening in the clip. And if we agree, disagree, and kind of go from there. So Josh's going to pull up some of the clips right here on the big screen for us. And we're going to see what the clip says and what inspired the clip and kind of just get everybody's opinion at home on it as well.
If you're a parent of a daughter, this life hack is for you.
Take her on as many beach vacations as you can, because that way when Mr. Douchebag comes along and promises, oh, I'll fly you here, I'll fly you there, she's not impressed. Hey there, Brad, you might actually have to work on being a good person. I don't know. Well, back to you, and you're welcome.
Yeah, so I have a daughter, right, as well. And it's like when I see this clip, I'm like, okay, I do kind of want to make it hard for the guy coming up to at least know how my daughter wants to be treated, right? So I want the guy to know, okay, you have to do this, or you got to do this, or you have to be respectful, you have to hold the doors, and all these little things that she's already used to. So the minute the guy doesn't do it for her, it's already a red flag as to, well, why aren't you holding the door? Why aren't you pulling the chair? Why aren't you being this gentleman that I'm used to getting the treatment from my father, right?
Yeah, and you know, dads are heroes. So like you set the precedent, and it's like, you know, it's not about, again, you know, that, you know, Mr. Douchebag, we've all fallen short of being a perfect man, but it's like, and that's why we, you know, try to, and that's why, you know, putting the humor in there, it's like, but on the real note, it's like, yeah, show her that, you know, it's more than money. It's all the things that come with it, the mindsets, and, you know.
You have so many people out there that think they're a gentleman just because they have money, right? And that's usually what makes somebody a huge asshole, is because they think they have you know, cash behind them and they have a big balance behind them, that now they can treat people differently, and it kind of builds this unwanted ego. That's just what we don't want out there. So I definitely see that side of things too.
Yep. So,
what's the next one? Let's
hit
see.
it. When people ask me how strong I like my coffee these days, I want that shit to show up on a drug test. Take whatever will kill me and back it off just a hair. Just maybe, if that. Adulting. Oh my God, back to you.
So I'm a huge coffee drinker,
Yes.
right? I'm like three shots in every morning, probably another 2 shots of espresso in the
Yeah.
afternoon. So when you said, you know, you want your coffee so strong, you want it to show up on a drug test, I figured, okay, I know how strong you probably like your coffee, because
mainlining that shit.
I love in the mornings when the caffeine hits you, and it kind of, you go from being tired, sleepy, to you take your coffee, and all of a sudden it's that feeling of just feeling ready to tackle on the world and kill it, and you get this crazy energy, and there's no feeling like it.
And being ADD, like it's almost a necessity. You have your brain doesn't. Your brain, I don't know if you know this, but like a true ADD person, their brain's always trying to shut off, and it's like, so that's why we're like, you know, like get back on focus. And so like, yeah, I mean, you know, that's why, you know, Adderall, all this stuff's like freaking meth, man. Like, you know, and you're like,
literally.
I'm like, wait, can they figure out a way to do a Delta cocaine 8, you know, Delta 10 cocaine, like just, you know, but But something like, you know, like a short form Adderall is coffee. So if there was that's the only thing. I was like, I don't want to do 8 hours of it. So coffee is great.
Yeah, you're a big coffee drinker.
Oh yeah. Yes. I try to stay away from the energy drinks because of, you know, like heart stuff. But like, I mean, I'll do it if, you know, I'll do it. But like, I'll do it, you know, whatever. But like, I try to go more towards coffee.
Okay, what's the next song? What do we have?
Whenever I have a panic attack, I put a paper bag over my mouth and drink all the vodka inside. Seems to help at the office. Back to you.
So I can relate to this one as well because I used to have anxiety, like bad anxiety back in the day, right? And if I didn't have medication to take for the anxiety, or if I didn't want to take the medication, because like they give you strong medication, it's like usually like a Xanax or something. I'm like, I don't want to take a Xanax. I
don't want to be a zombie.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be a zombie. And it's like I could go to a bar and have a shot or two of whatever. You know, I can have a margarita, or I can have a Jack and Coke, and that little buzz literally takes the anxiety away. So when I saw this clip, I was like, even though it's funny, it's true. Like it actually works. Like alcohol will take away the panic attack because it numbs you down just a little bit.
And it puts blinders on to stay in the moment for me. So like, you know, as a musician, I, you know, get off late. And so I'd always go to a bar and just that first drink. And again, not condoning getting drunk, whatever, but I'm saying like, yeah, no, it's fantastic. And you're like, this is, you know, and especially in like Europe, for example, you know, it's just part of culture and whatnot. So you're like, you know, it's absolutely a thing. So yeah, screw a bag, get a shot.
But no, these clips are all great. I mean, do you just think of these clips off the top of your head, or how much like energy and work you actually put into this? So, people see 10 seconds, but what do you know, what's the backstory
so
behind
this? Is great. So I'll go to a bar and I will start talking to my friends. I'm probably, you know, a couple drinks in, and I start just barroom banter. And all of a sudden, and then my friends know that I do this now. And so they're like, oh, you should TikTok that. And I write it down. So like I will, you know, just like we were joking before, like there's something we could come up with in 2 seconds. Like, oh, that's funny. And so I write it down and then I'll do it the next day. And if I'm out of material, I'll scour the internet and I'll be like, ooh, I want to do my own take on that, you know, and be like, you know, I'll wait until something makes me laugh.
Is music kind of shifting the way social media is shifting? Like, for example, we just talked about TikTok, Instagram, and the content, right? When it comes to a song is usually about 3 minutes, I'd say. Has that changed too, where now do you have to think of things like that and how to keep people's attention span early into the song to keep them listening through the whole song? Like, do you have to have a catchy intro to the song
100%.
and things like that?
Another thing is because everything's been done. So, I mean, music has been being recorded since what, 1920, you know, it's so 100 years. And what's music going to be like in the next 100 years? Like we've all talked about every bit of love. We've talked about, I mean, we beat the horse, right? So now that's why you have, you know, so many, you know, Justin Bieber with a Latin artist or whatever. We're trying to figure out, you know, different ways to kind of, you know, give it some spice. Exactly.
Which sounds good, by the way.
No, it sounds amazing, but I'm glad we've run out of runway. Yeah. And so like we're having to come up with stuff. The average song used to be that radio edit was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Now it's like 2:45. So, you know, and the songs are just in and out. I mean, we used to have, Bohemian Rhapsody. We used to have like songs that, Pink Floyd, 10-minute songs and, you know, this, that, and the other. I mean, you could do it at a concert, but now recordings are just small and you have to keep their attention.
Because even with like album sales, right? And like just putting an album together, now when you think about it, with people's attention span being so short, it's like, why would you put 30 songs in an album? People are just going to pick, you know, they're going to pick top 3 out of 30. But if you only give them, let's say 9 songs on an album or 10 songs, now they're going to pick maybe 3, 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right?
And, you know, the whole album thing is for, you know, like if you're like, hey, I have a set body of work that deals with a certain topic. So I would say like a Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. Here's everything I'm writing about John Mayer. It's the John Mayer album. And then there. But most artists are just like, you know, fans. Like, you know, a month later, they're a different person or they're dating a new person or whatever. So that was just a one-time single about wrote about that. It doesn't need to be on an album. Here's the latest song from me.
Yeah, but with social media being so accessible to everybody, do you feel like the pace of music kind of now has to keep up with social media? If, let's say, a guy's dating a girl and they break up, now, the next song they want to hear from this guy is about the breakup, right? If he writes that song and waits a year to put it out, do people even care about it a year later because the breakup's been over? So everything kind of has to pick up the pace.
Speed now, and if you want to stay relevant,
right?
And that's the thing. It's like people are, used to be back in the day it used to be mysterious. So like your Michael Jacksons, you didn't know anything about Michael. Could you imagine Michael coming out now, 20 years old,
right?
And he'd have to get on social media and every little thing, and he wouldn't have been signed. He would have had to get a social media following like everybody else. And could you imagine Michael Jackson? You'd be like, this guy's, there'd be so much talk about, it's weird now. And so now you have to be accessible and so same with the songs. You got to be.
What's your opinion on like Kanye West and some of the stuff he's been going through? It's tough, right? To see a man get canceled like that. That's extreme right now.
Well, and now, I mean, here's the thing, to lose, that much money that fast, I'm sure.
Has it ever been done before, though? Like, has anybody lost so much so quick?
Yeah. I mean, but like they also have another, 80 million. I mean, Elon Musk probably gains and loses 10 to 5 million to 20 million.
But not even just like money wise. Like when you look at like from like, I think like Adidas dropping him, social media platforms dropping him. Chase Bank dropped him. Yeah. Like it's just like I don't know if we've ever seen anybody get canceled in so many ways so fast within 30 days.
Well, it's tough because he's just going for probably shock factor.
I think so too.
And just trying to what are you doing wearing a black mask on Alex Jones' show?
Did you watch that by the way? Like I saw a clip of it and it was like, oh my god,
it was tough. It was tough. But you're like, I'm wondering who handles him, who really like goes like, and I don't know if anybody does.
I don't think anybody does either, and that's the problem.
Because I mean, there's a way you could do this, but like, I mean, even if there's something that's true, there comes a consequence with certain things that people just don't want to hear, and then there are, people out there in the universe that control things.
Now you have millions of people at home off their phone, chasing the negativity as well, because they know even though they can't sell it, they're going to use it to their advantage for likes.
Yeah. And you got people now that, and this is how ridiculous you got the duet, and that people will just have themselves in their face watching the video and not talk about it or not anything and give no opinion. And they're just promoting their own selves through like a terrible video or whatever, and it's like, that it's everybody wants to be a star. Yes.
Have you ever had any negative comments on like your videos and things like that?
It's not really, and that's crazy to think about because I mean I have had people unfollowing misogynistic or whatever, this, that, and the other. And I'll type it in there, and I had like a good 10 exchange conversation, and then she was like, what, I'm sorry, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, that was interesting, And so like on YouTube, YouTube's a whole different ballgame. Like they're just like, I'm like, I've never seen anything like YouTube.
But YouTube, I feel like you can't have as much of a back and forth conversation. Like I feel like they just say what they want to say, and they're out of there.
That's just like it's just whatever. This guy thinks he's funny. Like that's not even a comment. Like you went out of your way to say that because of and I get it. Like, dude, get it, bro, get it.
Yeah, we'll take any comments. Like it's fine. Like not everything's gonna be perfect.
My journey started out with Jake and Logan Paul.
Beautiful day, just hanging out. Oh, what the heck? Oh, he's gonna die.
I was in LA. And so, I mean, these guys are loved and hated like hard. This is it. And so I was 30 and Jake was 18, and he was dating one of my clients, and he wanted to He had 4 million followers at Vine at the time. And I was like, what's Vine? You know, and I had no idea. And so I was going to her house. It's like, my boyfriend's coming. He wants to meet you. He wants to learn how to motorcycle wheelie because I was a part of a stunt group. And he also wants to do music. You guys got to meet. I'm like, all right, man. And so anyway, hit it off right off the bat. And, you know, we started doing Vines together. And I was like, oh, this will be good for music. I'll help him. You know, you scratch my back, you scratch yours. And we did his first track. It was called Cali Whip. Again, super green, not very great at the time. But the song was awesome. And I got that dude that was that first, let me hop out the motherfucking Porsche.
Oh, yeah.
I got him on there. And I mean, it's actually, I put it out on Spotify so you guys can do it. And he can sue me if he wants.
That's my mother, Jake Paul on the beat, and I'm popping my collar. Yeah, crew up in the whip. Call me Ricky Bobby, switching lanes when I ship. Dang.
We you know, moved in together, started doing Vines. I met all the Viners. I was doing it, and I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna freaking make it, right? And I started seeing the work ethic that it took to do social media, and it was really cool to see this, and started getting in with everybody. And so at that time, so anyway, you know, we're having a blast. And so I was in a relationship long distance, and I was like, shoot, I need to go back to Dallas real quick and see if this is something I need to pursue. I'd been with this girl for 6 years and this, that, and the other. Should I get married and the whole deal?
Because at that time you were in California, but your girlfriend.
Dallas.
Oh, okay.
And so I'd fly her out every 2 weeks. And, you know, so anyway, I put all my stuff in storage and was like, I'll be back. Because he was like, I'll give you, you know, I'll put you in team 10. I want 20%. I was like, that's too, you know, I was like, okay, let me get this. And so I went back to Dallas and we had a child. I found out she was cheating on me the entire time. That was a whole thing. And we tried to fix it, but then, and I tried.
You said had a child?
Yes, so had a child, and then, so then I couldn't get back out there, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, I was like, shoot, man.
Was that tough for you, by the way, to go through that? Because you just, I mean, it seems like you had it going for you in California, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean,
and then it just life changing all of a sudden.
I left a lot of money on the table. Let's put it that way. Yeah. But I wanted a family that bad. That was my priceless asset. Kind of
makes sense.
And so I was like willing to drop. I mean, I'd be on top of the world right now with those boys. Even if you hate them, like, you know, I'd be widely hated. I mean, I'm not their style. And you know, Jake and Logan were sitting here right now. Y'all are crazy motherfuckers. Like y'all got a screw loose, but I love you. You know, like y'all. You know,
if you would have joined the Team 10 house, what would your role have been?
I was fucking beating the shit out of everybody and jokes and stuff. But like, you know, that's what was funny about Jake fighting these days. I got videos on my phone right now. Me teaching him how to fight. I've fought for 10 years, but I've had a crazy life. But
and just what kind of fighting did you do?
MMA. Yeah.
MMA.
Mm-hmm. And so it was. Funny enough, I had some people that were like, "Hey, we need to get you in UFC," blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Mom, what do you think?" And she was managing me at the time, and she's like, "I will drop you from the label faster than you can even think. I paid for those teeth. I don't want to see my son die." And at the time, they're only making like $30,000 a fight, right? And
I think right now it's like 31,000, so it hasn't changed much.
Yeah, but like it was stupid. You know, now I mean, unless you're Conor McGregor and you know how to get all the endorsements
exactly.
And stuff. And you know, I was very good, but like it still was. It wasn't. There was at the time it was Chuck Liddell, you know, the Iceman, all the original stuff. But it was just kind of getting its wings. And so I was like, all right, I'll just do it as a hobby now. And so that was tough. But, you know, it was fun. I would have had a whole lifestyle thing. I would have done social media. I would have been a musician with myself. The things I'm doing now that I'm getting back to. And that's what happened, you know. So it was tough with the situation and I lost myself for a while. I didn't know. I left LA. Now I don't have a relationship. Now my son, that whole issue and legal stuff. And, you know, it was just a tough time in life. And I was like, okay.
I can only
so
imagine.
fast forward, and now, COVID happens, and I was like, I got to get back out there to get my life together. Now my son's older. I put in the hard work to be a father, and now, now that he's older, I can start traveling again, and I have a relationship with him, so I can call him, talk to him, and I don't have to exactly be right next to him to make sure that he knows of that. And so I started doing, TikTok, and then I was like, wow, this is, I got my stride on that, and then I was like, I wanted to do it again. I was a huge, locally, huge in Dallas for a while, and enjoyed doing that. And then I wanted to, go mainstream and whatever. And that was my shot, I believe, when I moved to LA. And so I had to get the wherewithal to do it again. And now I'm back, and I'm having a blast, and that's where I'm at.
You keep thinking about the past, and if you're always chasing the past moments, you're never gonna reach, the true potential that you have. So
right.
I feel like you're definitely on the right path.
It's a more blessed path being older and being through, than being younger. It's a whole different. You're not chasing the weird shit.
But does it ever like mess with you mentally, knowing that you've had so many of those strings, and now when you see the people that you pretty much helped put on where they're at today, and then you kind of look, back on some of those moments, does it start to mess with you where you think that maybe you could have been somewhere else?
100%.
And how do you get over that? How do you stop thinking about that? And, it's almost like going professional as like a football player, and then you get this injury, and then by the time you recover from the injury, it's like you're always now one step behind.
I don't think you ever get over it. I think you compartmentalize it, but I think of it as, a lobster. I don't know if you know the story of the lobster, but it's like a lobster. The only reason it grows is because it feels the pressure from the exoskeleton, so it has to slough it off, and be vulnerable, and then it finally it grows to the next level. So it's like it's the pressure that makes you better. So to have that pressure, to have that thing that that pushes you. Like, for example, if people are like, oh, I'm not depressed, I'm whatever. Like, dude, you have $5 in your bank account, and you live here, and you live there. Like, oh, I'm blessed to be alive. Sure, but you should be a little depressed about your situation, and there's nothing wrong with it. Be depressed and let that push you and motivate you. Because if it's cold outside, you wear a jacket. Why? Because I feel it's cold, And so fix the problem. It motivated your ass to get a coat.
There was even some like clips about, I think Andrew Tate talked a little bit about depression and whether he believes in it or not. There's two takes on it, right? Like, I believe that people truly can get depressed where they don't want to do shit. And you can't, you might be a super energetic, motivated person that says, well, you got to get off your ass and just do it. It's going to take more than that. Once somebody falls into that depression, they really don't care. So you have to find something that motivates you, that makes you want to get up early in the morning, that makes you want to go after it and give it your all. And if people can't find that, how do they pull out of depression, right? And if you go and take medication, all that's going to do is there's medication out there that helps with depression, but adds on 20, 30 pounds to your weight. Now you're uncomfortable in your body. Now you don't like how you look. So now on top of being depressed, you hate yourself. You hate the way you look. Now you're depressed 3 times as more. So there's so much to medication and depression and mental health. And I think it just needs to be brought out to the public a little bit more. What is your opinion on mental health?
I have absolutely been depressed before. I've been on a motorcycle. I was 20 years old. I was depressed about a girl that, this is funny. Go back to what we were talking about before. I was 20 and still a child, because I'm sitting there going, I'm drunk on my motorcycle doing a wheelie from Frisco to Dallas. I can not put it down. I'm just and I'm weaving through traffic on one wheel, just hoping someone takes me out. I don't care. And you get there. And now, as an adult, I'd be like, that is the silliest thing in the world to let a girl get you to that point, or anything. Yeah. It's not about women, anything. That was just the catalyst at the time. But it can happen that way, that immediate depression. But there's another thing. there's also like a clinical, like your brain is not producing a certain thing. And so as an ADD human, there are those times where I will stare at the wall and be like, what are you doing? Like, because there's so much going, you can't even get up off the couch because you're like, I don't know what to focus on to get the thing done.
Yeah.
And so that is to me, it's a form of depressing. It's depressing not knowing what to do, even though you're incredibly talented at it. I mean, as soon as I get to do it, I don't care if it's Rocket League, if I'm playing video games or guitar or whatever. I obviously put in the time to learn the guitar, to sing, to whatever. And I put it in all these moments that I was hyper focused. But if you don't know, so like I with in regards to Andrew not believing you get your foot, there are times where it's like, listen, there's nothing that's going to motivate you at all because you're not motivated. But if you listen to all the gurus, they say, fuck your motivation. You just do it anyways. I don't want to go to gym. I'm not motivated to go to gym, but I do it anyways. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, you're like, well, damn. All right. Now maybe I have a little.
That's the motivation.
And now maybe I have the motivation at the end as the result. And you're like, okay, that helps me to keep going and to not slack as much because I felt a prick of a goosebump of a moment of like, damn, I look good. Or some girl comes up to you and touches your muscle. And it's like, all right. And then now I'm motivated. But it took me not being motivated to get there. And so it's like, and there's a TED talk on it that there's a 30-year study is like talking about grit. And that is the thing that actually is the number one reason for success is grit. And then there's another billionaire. I forget what his name is, but he's like, what is the number one sign that you can tell someone will be successful? And he's like, on the 88th try, they're just as they're not motivated, just as excited as the first. They're getting up, they're talking, they're going, whatever, and they just don't let the bygones be. Do you think they wake up every morning just like, yeah? I mean, there's some crazy people that are just that way, like jolly, but not me. And so it's because I fell into that, and I was on my 5th try at a music label, and I go, what are they going to say? I need a social media following, and they're going to be like, you're really talented, and my God, but man, come back to us when you have a social media following. I'm already out, you know? And I realized, man, I'm falling into this woe is me thing. Well, go get a social media following then, bud, or whatever, or like keep being like, excited about it.
But it's also finding a goal and kind of chasing that goal and keep pushing and pushing and pushing, right? And it's like the same way even for us here at Talker when we do interviews and things like that. Like we have to find a goal, what we like, and chase that. For me, I love Joe Rogan. I love watching all his episodes. I love the way he, the camera angles that they use and everything.
Yep.
And although I may never be a Joe Rogan, but me trying to constantly chase that moment will eventually make me a better person or make me a better interviewer, right? So it's like for all the people out there, if they want to work out, they might never get that 6-pack, but I guarantee you they're going to look better 30 days from now than they do today, right? So it's like find what you love, chase it, even though, you might never get there, you're going to be better day in and day out. And even with your music and everything, I guarantee you probably sound better today than you did, 10 years ago.
100%. And it's the same thing like social media. I started with 0 followers on TikTok. 0. And then it went to 93. And then it went to and you're like, what is that? The point is, if you just remain consistent.
Yeah. But no, we had a great episode, talked about a lot of things. I think we touched some good topics as well, especially talking about, like you mentioned, some of the Jake Paul stuff that you've been through that maybe some of our audience doesn't even know. So we appreciate you kind of opening our eyes to that and letting people know that you've really been through some things, in your life. And being in California, coming here to Texas, I mean, everything changing 180 on you to still being the man you are today, that takes a lot. And
and you can always rebrand and re-go. And then, like you're saying, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being depressed, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with not knowing what to do. But at some point, it is on you to turn that around. And it is okay to take time off. It is okay to whatever, and don't be ashamed about it. But like seek professional help, keep those close to you, or, call this show, text this show. Like if you need an outlet or somebody, like hit us up on Instagram. You have 2 men here that would love to reach out, and that's why we do what we do. Is
If there is somebody out there having a hard time going through it, send us a DM. I'll come to you. We'll sit down. We'll talk one-on-one, and we'll go from there. But please feel free to reach out. Never hold anything in, and we'll end it on that note. Thank you so much. Rock out. I appreciate you. That was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Like I said.
It's